I just feel like that God has made every one of us exceptional. And we're exceptional, but we don't always feel exceptional.
A first-class seat, a spilled liquid, a flight attendant asking for basic courtesy. What happened next on Continental Flight 1602 would trigger federal fines, a lawsuit, and 2 hours of delays for an entire plane of passengers. The woman at the center? Victoria Osteen, co-pastor of America's largest church. That was 2005. Since then, court documents, viral videos, and crisis after crisis have built a case that Lakewood's leadership ignores. Tonight, we examine why the person supposed to guide 45,000 souls might be the very force tearing the institution apart. To understand what's happening at Lakewood, you need to understand the numbers. Every week, 45,000 people file into a converted basketball arena in Houston. The former Compaq Center, where the Rockets once played, now hosts 4 weekend services. The renovation cost? $100 million. But here's what the official website won't highlight. Victoria Osteen isn't just Joel's wife. She carries the title of co-pastor. That's not ceremonial. That's institutional authority over one of America's most valuable religious properties. Property records from Harris County show something else. In 2010, while preaching prosperity to working families, the Osteens purchased a $10.5 million mansion in River Oaks, the most expensive neighborhood in Texas. Joel claimed book sales covered it, but the timing raised questions that never got answered. When a church operates at this scale, every decision carries weight. But what happens when those decisions start forming a pattern? John Osteen founded this church in 1959 with 90 members in a feed store. When he died in 1999, Joel took over. Victoria was right there, but initially she stayed in the background. That changed. By 2003, she was on stage. By 2000, she was making headlines for all the wrong reasons. The FAA doesn't issue fines lightly. When they fined Victoria Osteen $1,000 for interfering with a flight crew, they documented everything. The spill on the armrest, the confrontation with Sharon Brown, the decision to leave the plane with her children while other passengers sat stranded. Sharon Brown's lawsuit sought $400,000. The trial happened in Houston, August 2008. The jury heard from passengers. They reviewed evidence. After 3 hours, they cleared Victoria of assault charges. The foreman called it a waste of time. But legal vindication doesn't erase public memory. The story kept circulating. Why? Because it fit a pattern people were starting to notice. Fast forward to 2014. Victoria Osteen stands at Lakewood's pulpit and says something that breaks the internet. When we obey God, we're not doing it for God. We're doing it for ourselves. 23 words, that's all it took. The clip went viral within hours. Critics called it the prosperity gospel stripped of its mask. Christian narcissism in its purest form. Defenders said it was taken out of context. They pointed to the full sermon about finding joy in worship, but context doesn't matter when the damage is done. The clip became digital evidence, a receipt that surfaces every time Lakewood faces scrutiny. Type Victoria Osteen into any search engine. That quote appears first. The timing mattered too. This was the same year workers found something bizarre inside Lakewood's walls during routine maintenance. Cash and checks totaling $200,000. Hidden since a 2014 theft nobody fully explained. August 2017. Hurricane Harvey drops 50 inches of rain on Houston. Neighborhoods disappear underwater. Families lose everything. Social media explodes with one question. Why are Lakewood's doors closed? The church that seats 16,000, that claims to serve the community, that preaches about helping neighbors, locked, while furniture stores opened as shelters, while mosques welcomed strangers, while smaller churches risked flood damage to save lives. Joel Osteen posted photos showing flooding near the church. City officials later confirmed Lakewood coordinated with emergency management. The church opened August 28th, once declared safe. But notice who stayed silent during the crucial first 48 hours? Victoria Osteen, co-pastor, was absent from every press conference, every social media response, every attempt at damage control. Reuters fact-checked the timeline. Local news documented the sequence. The technical details checked out. But trust doesn't work on technicalities. When Houston needed leadership, half of Lakewood's official leadership disappeared. The pattern was becoming impossible to ignore. When controversy hit, Joel faced cameras while Victoria vanished. Co-pastor in title, but conveniently absent from accountability. 2020 brought new questions. Lakewood Church applied for and received $4.4 million in PPP loans. Federal money meant for struggling businesses. The justification? Keeping 368 employees on payroll while services went virtual. The church repaid it after public backlash. But the application itself revealed something significant. A church that just paid off a $100 million renovation, that generates millions in weekly donations, needed taxpayer support? Treasury Department records show the loan approval. Employment records confirm the staff numbers. But nowhere in Lakewood's financial disclosures will you find Victoria Osteen's salary as co-pastor. Texas doesn't require churches to disclose executive compensation, convenient for an institution built on telling others how to manage money. Joel claims he takes no salary from the church, living off book sales. Victoria's income remains a mystery, protected by the same laws that shield the church's total assets. But public records reveal other details. The Osteen Family Trust, multiple properties across Houston, business entities, registered to variations of their names. Each transaction legal, each raising questions about the prosperity they preach versus the prosperity they practice. February 11th, 2024. Between Sunday services, gunshots echo through Lakewood's hallways. A woman with a rifle, a 5-year-old child, 2 off-duty officers working security. In seconds, 2 people are wounded. The shooter is dead. The child, critically injured. Joel Osteen addresses the congregation within hours. He thanks law enforcement, offers prayers, provides updates. Victoria Osteen, co-pastor of this traumatized congregation, silent, absent, invisible during the worst crisis in Lakewood's modern history. Police reports detail the timeline. Security footage confirms the sequence. But nowhere in the official response will you find Victoria Osteen's name. The woman who claimed spiritual authority over 45,000 people couldn't be found when those people needed leadership most. This wasn't about giving speeches. This was about presence, about showing up when your community bleeds, about the basic responsibility that comes with the title pastor. The shooter's motives involved personal grievances and mental illness, investigators concluded. But the leadership vacuum revealed something else. When tested, only half of Lakewood's official leadership responded. Every institution faces crises. What matters is the response. At Lakewood, the response follows a script. Joel appears on camera. Prepared statements get released. Damage control begins. Victoria remains strategically absent until controversy passes. Then she returns to the pulpit, to the women's ministry, to the role of co-pastor without the weight of public accountability. But accountability has a way of accumulating. Every incident adds weight. Every absence gets noticed. Every viral moment becomes evidence. The airplane incident showed entitlement. The do-it-for-yourself sermon revealed theology. The Hurricane Harvey response exposed priorities. The PPP loan raised financial questions. The shooting aftermath demonstrated leadership failure. Individually, these might be dismissed. Together, they form a pattern that threatens Lakewood's foundation, not through external attacks, but through internal rot. In 2024, Joel announced Lakewood had paid off its $100 million renovation debt. The church was financially free. The crowds still come, the cameras still roll. The empire stands, but empires don't fall from outside pressure. They crumble from within. When leadership splits between public image and private authority, when accountability becomes optional, when crisis reveals character, that's when foundations crack. Victoria Osteen still holds her title, still preaches prosperity, still shapes decisions affecting thousands of families and millions of dollars. The difference now? People are watching. The receipts are public. The pattern is documented. The question isn't whether Lakewood can survive controversy. It's whether an institution can thrive when its co-pastor operates in shadows, emerges for applause but disappears when leadership costs something. What happens when the next crisis hits? Because in Houston, in America's largest church, with 45,000 souls seeking guidance, crisis isn't a possibility. It's a guarantee.